Okay, looks like the signal is there. It looks like it's live, it's running, and it's rolling. So I'm just going to dive right into it. I know it takes ages for the chat to connect and everything like that, but really this is not a hangout type of event tonight. I'm just recording these through the live stream because it's the only option we have right now to create the playlist for March. So please bear with me. I know you guys are there. Some of you guys are going to show up and we'll hang out, but I'm not going to be spending a lot of time mingling over there on the chat, over that area. So, you know, please don't take it personally. And so if you do want to get into it and do things personally, you know, you can do that. Let me go through the basics first of all. Greetings. This is Tarot Lumination, okay? This is how we're doing things right now. And this is you, Sagittarius, and this is for your March 2019 generic mini love and relationship report, okay? Now, we are going to reference the Tarot Lumination Astro Doodles, okay? But we're not going to dwell on it. I just want to let you know this exists, but all of this is in a separate playlist. Otherwise, we'll be here for ages, and I don't want to do that. The readings get long enough as it is. Just want to point out a couple of sweet spots for you. You've got Jupiter in your own sign right there. And you've got the sun entering Aries over here, your 5th house. It is a full moon, but anyway. Anyway, let's just leave it at that, okay? I'm not going to really spend any time there. So, first off, first orders of business, the Astro Doodles are on a separate playlist. I highly recommend watching these because it adds a lot of structure and information and support and substance to the regular readings that we do. Next, if you need to get into it with a personal reading, you can do that. Check the links below. Membership, very, very important now for Tarot Lumination going forward. Check the links below. I'm not going to spell it all out here for you. You can just click the link to go to the Patreon place and you can follow and learn everything from there. It's a quick read, don't worry. Also, donate, funding, all that kind of stuff. Check the links below. You can do it directly. There's also Super Chat if anyone wants to go totally crazy. Either way, it's good here. So let's leave that. I want to go to the illustration now. This is what we're going to be doing, okay? We're going to be using the Tarot Lumination Crucible spread to do this relationship report. It's on the understanding that there's you, a significant other, you, another, and there's a third entity, a living thing itself called a relationship. This is like a living thing. Okay, so you can't actually touch it, but it has the structure and nature of a crucible to some degree. And a crucible is a scientific ball structure that they use in very high extreme, high stress alchemical reactions so that the reaction can occur. Otherwise it couldn't occur without the ball. So it's the same in human relationships because human relationships are like laboratory experiments in some way. There's so much that goes on bubbling beneath the surface besides like, hey, I like you. Hey, I like you. Let's get it on. Let's do this. Oh, now we have a relationship. It's a lot more complicated, okay? I'm sure you guys know that, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So basically, this is the ball in which the relationship is conducted as we intimate and separate, we intimate and separate, intimate and separate all day, every day, just like the ocean waves. So going deeper into you, deeper into the other, into the core of the relationship itself. And then what is being fostered and nurtured here? Think of this as a living thing. It is a pulsing living thing, and you guys are in this, whether you like it or know it or not. So what are you growing? What is being fostered here? What is sprouting? Think of it like a business, okay? And like all businesses, you grow and you adapt and you evolve, or you die, okay? And relationships die as well because they don't grow, evolve, or adapt. They need a lot of work, a lot of nurture, a lot of love, okay? So we'll get into that. Also out here, I like to think of this as the weather because this, you guys are radiating energy and receiving energy outside of you guys, okay? The world knows this. Other people who know you, know your relationship, are aware of this. You might not be because you're in it. So we're going to get to that in a moment, okay? let's get on with the show. The cards are already well shuffled in advance. I did that a lot between this and the last report. But we're going to go to the last second so that you're a witness. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. I know I'm probably sounding a lot more serious than I do normally when we do the fun live shows, but I'm just trying to concentrate purely on your report. Okay, Sagittarius? Let's get down to business here. You will see from that illustration how the cards splay out here on the stage, okay? So bless this deck. Bless every single card. Bless you, Sagittarius. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising as well, especially if they're all different. Also, by the way, for singles, you can even watch this if you want to, but you have to allow and understand for the laws of attraction. You are always transmitting and radiating and receiving energy. And in a conscious sense, you would know that. So if you're not actively in a chosen relationship right now, even though there might be somebody out there on the horizons or whatever, but it's not an actual active relationship, you can still consider yourself and the other, but with the other as the energy of potential, the energy of what if. In other words, if suddenly something would happen right now, this would be kind of like a snapshot moment for you, okay? I'm just going to do one last spin. Give me a moment. Thank you. Thank you so much. Uh-oh, I've just noticed something on the chat. Give me a second here. There's something wrong. Please give me a second. Yeah, okay. I don't know what's happening, but anyway. It looks like there's a few of you here. It's just that I shouldn't really even be looking at the chat anyway. Anyway, here we go. To the last second. By the way, also, please invite your invisible friends to join you when you watch these readings, and ask for the support and extra intuitive guidance that would come from them that would not come otherwise, okay? You have to invoke that stuff. They like to be there by invitation. Your invisible friends like to be there by invitation, okay? You can't just take them for granted, although many of us do, including Tarot Lumination. Here we go. Cards are shuffled. Let's cut it all up nice and evenly. Bless the deck. Bless every single card. This little deck has done thousands of readings, and it's still going strong. So that's what we're going to keep doing. I know it's the basic deck, but I need to create a certain degree of stability here. All right? So this one's for you, Sagittarius. It's not a couples reading. It's all about you. We're allowing for the other character. Here is your energy that you're radiating. Here is the other. Here is deep inside of you, deep inside of the other, and to hear the core of the relationship itself, okay? So what is being fostered and nurtured here? Think of it as fermenting, like a chemical reaction, like a homebrew beer or something. What is being fermented here? You own this thing. You guys own this thing. There's you, the other, and the relationship. This has a separate identity here. Needs to be understood. Over here, this is the weather that we were talking about outside of you guys. So this is the crucible here, okay? Here we go, the lovers, okay? So let's kind of like, I guess, get to the point. Things are, my feeling, it's like you must be at some kind of point of critical mass here. And I think it might be something to do with, like, you've got Jupiter in Sagittarius, which is expanding anything and everything about you and the world of Sagittarius. And that could be a problem for a significant other, because like when you grow, expand, and then you enjoy certain benefits that others don't, then you can be on a roll, and you might outshine them, outjoy them, out-enjoy them, in such a way that, it doesn't seem fair to the other party. Like, you might be on a roll, a serious roll, but also in some ways it might not be working for the other, but you might be oblivious to that. So we have to allow for that, okay? So that would be getting reflected back to you by a significant other. And I think it'll make a lot more sense towards the end of March, when all the energy shifts into Aries, because at the beginning of the month you've got some very, very awkward energy, okay? You've got that Pisces new moon Sun and Moon together with Neptune, and then you've got Mercury retrograde Pisces on top of that, basically more or less for the whole month, okay? And that's at the 4th house, the very foundations of your life and your world, which would include, you know, if you guys are like living together, it would be your home, your sense of place, where you sleep, your sense of security, sense of stability. The 4th house is literally kind of like the pedestal on which the rest of your chart is living. And if that part of your life is under a lot of duress, a lot of stress, it might feel like you're on quicksand, or it's dissolving, or it's very hard to, you know, define, like, what is the foundation of our life, my dear one? What is going on at the foundations of us, our life, my life, your life, our home, our family, our world? Because you put those there, you know, Sun, Moon, Neptune, and Mercury retrograde, all in Pisces, right there. I'll just show you. God, excuse me, hold on. I'm talking about this. It looks pretty harmless, but actually that's very serious energy for you to have to deal with, okay, Sagittarius? So please allow for that. It might be very delicate, very, very diffuse, very hard to understand what's actually going on there. Like, everything might seem okay, but it might be an optical illusion. There might be some serious issues at the very foundations of your relationship, okay, without hardly knowing it. And that puts you on alert. It puts them on alert. It puts the whole relationship on alert, where you have to, my feeling is that it's time to see, you know, the significance of your relationship. It's time to take your relationship very seriously, okay? And then towards the end of the month, once things get into Aries, you might have a better understanding of the definitions of what is serious. Like, what are your priorities in relationship? What kind of decisions are you guys making all day, every day? Are they conscious decisions or unconscious decisions? Are you living on autopilot and the lizard brain, the reptilian brain, and hormones and testosterone and estrogen? Or are you really, really getting into the I would say, the actual foundations, the core and the structure of the relationship, above and beyond all the stuff that I just mentioned, like the hormones and everything? So it's serious. To me, it looks like it's really serious. You might not want that. You might not enjoy it. It might be a very uncomfortable kind of serious, but it needs to be dealt with. Either way, you're going to face it. It's going to come at you. That new moon is going to put the pressure on, okay? And you might feel the pressure building up even before the new moon. And then after that Pisces new moon, March 6th, you've got 2 weeks to get some definition, start figuring out, laying things out, get a reading, do your own reading with yourselves, so that you have a better understanding towards the end of March. Okay, what are you radiating over here? Okay, so with the 3 of Wands, my feeling is that it's like, it's almost like, I knew this was coming. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. In my naivety, in my innocence, in my mission, my right to be me on my own epic journey in life, I had a feeling that there were some very serious matters going on that have either been neglected or ignored, or that are almost like a threat to the foundations of our relationship. And I'm starting to see the evidence. I can see it. I know what Tarot Lumination is talking about. Damn it. Okay, so, but if you don't take it personally, you just say, okay, well, this is information. Treat it as neutral. Like, okay, well, if this is how things are, if you truly love the other truly loves you, and you cherish each other, and you cherish the relationship, and you're willing to do the work, and you're willing to face the serious decisions that need to be faced and decisions that need to be made in order to figure out, what are we going to do now, honey? What are we going to do now, given what Tarot Lumination was just talking about? It's serious, okay? There are, I'm not going to go to the chart. So I was just about to go to the chart there and like intermingle things, but it's much simpler. We'll just do this report, and you guys can go check the astrodoodles, okay, later on. All right. Hey, Nikki, I see you. Thank you. Yeah, love to all Sages. Okay, So I'll put this aside over here for a moment. That's extraneous energy. Over here, let's have a look. What about the other? Okay, so with the Queen of Pentacles, my feeling is that you, Sagittarius, if you are in a like a well-established, solid kind of relationship, my feeling is that you're dealing with another party who, in their own, let's say, very diplomatic, demure, conscientious way, they're looking at themselves in the context of this relationship too. Okay, remember, this is all about you, Sagittarius, but we're allowing for the significant other here. So my feeling is that this significant other here is already aware, perhaps even more aware than you are, about how serious things are in terms of this relationship right now. Like, if whatever's going wrong and not working, that needs to be faced and understood. Whatever is working and it's glorious and wonderful, that needs to be acknowledged and faced and understood. So my feeling is that, again, with the new moon Pisces and the Mercury retrograde Pisces, they are wondering, perhaps pondering, evaluating their that's, what's the word, component, not component, their position in the relationship, their value. It's like, hold on, dear Sagittarius, I already know how valuable I am. I have already invested in us, in the relationship. We've got certain things of value, of great value. Let's just admit it. However, I am going through my own version of issues, just like you. I'm going to have to deal with my Pisces new moon just like you, and I'm going to have to deal with the full moon later on just like you. And I have to tell you, I'm very concerned. I am very, very concerned about what we would call our value system in our relationship. What are our priorities in the relationship? What are we going to be doing with the resources that we have? What am I supposed to do with the resources that I have and everything that I value about me and you and us in the relationship? Because obviously everything is shifting. Think of it as drifting sands, you know, like on the oceans and sand dunes. You know, they're there, but they're constantly shifting. So it's very hard to set down roots and plan anything. And so my feeling is that you, dear Sagittarius, it's kind of like early in the month. It's kind of, to me, it feels very awkward, very, very awkward energy where you guys know there are issues. There's stuff that is not stable, not realistic, not pinned down regarding the foundations of your relationship. You kind of knew it was coming. They've already sensed it in their own way, and they're starting to take a very serious stock of the situation. Like, okay, we need to get real here, because I am not about to throw all this away, because I am a part of the equation, okay? I value myself, I value you, I value the relationship to some degree, and I need to know where I stand. I can't do that on my own, because we're in a relationship. So we need to connect, we need to relate, we need to make joint decisions about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it to like create a sense of stability at the core of the relationship. Okay? I hope you don't mind. Let's have a look deep down inside of you. Okay, well, with the Fool here, to me this kind of betrays everything. Not in a bad way, but what makes me feel as though you've got totally caught off guard by the situation. Okay, here's I'm just gonna, this is the very, very delicate, tricky part. This is like quicksand here, which is really going to, it's just literally like going on a big hike. You're living your life like a hike, and you step in something that looks okay, but it's sinking and it's sinking, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And the thing is, my feeling is that you, dear Sagittarius, were completely unprepared in any way, shape, or form, because chances are you might not have ever experienced anything like this before. Even no matter how long you've been relating together, whether it's a new relationship, like midlife or retirees, or brand new married couple, or whatever it is, with the Fool card deep inside of you, my feeling is that part of you would love to escape, just like damn it, this is just too freaking complicated. I want to have fun. I got Jupiter and Sagittarius in my own sign. I love going on my own ventures. I like things going my way. Why am I on earth am I having to deal with this quicksand at the foundations of my life now? And then you get to a realization, well, it's because I'm in a relationship. And you might be okay, they might be going in their own way, sort of okay, but the relationship itself has certain characteristics of quicksand, which makes it very, very, very challenging. I don't know how to describe the energy of quicksand, but once you're in it, it's like the more you struggle, the sinker you... the more you struggle, the deeper you sink. So there's no point in trying to, like, manipulate, lie, cheat, steal, or squirm out of the situation. Quicksand is basically very deadly, but it's not, you don't know it's there. It's the hidden enemy. It's all that 12th house Piscean type energy that we're talking about. Very difficult, very hard, very diffuse to understand. And it's right there at the foundation of your life with that fat new moon right there, which is a challenge to you. Now, technically, astrologically, that's a square. But because it's the Pisces Sagittarius square, there's going to be an element of like super high frequency spirituality that's going to have to come into the conversation, and it might just not be of interest to you. You might just be like living life, okay, like tangible life, getting hold of it, and now you're having to deal with all this serious woo-woo stuff that is very hard to discuss, identify, name, or deal with, especially if you're on very, very shaky ground, very, very tenuous ground with the relationship, okay? So I see this as a combination of things. Oh man, I just want to get out. I want to escape. I just want to press the ejector button, the delete button, and get out right now. Part two is like, the reality is I don't actually know what I'm doing or where I'm going because I never even considered anything like what Terra Lumination is talking about. I wish I had known about these things beforehand. Well, Sagittarius, there are a lot of things that we cannot learn or heal or understand about ourselves or another except in the context of a relationship. So whatever you didn't know before now, you are going to find out now. So consider this as a learning experience, okay? So you don't have to take it personally and blame the other party or blame yourself. Things are the way they are, and that's how they always are, always will be. That's just one of the laws of the universe. Things are the way they are. So, including the optical illusion about having a relationship and a foundation, even though the reality might be that it's something very flimsy at the core. Okay, so we have to allow for that, if that's the truth. Let's have a look. What about deep inside of them? Okay, so this is like, see, with the world energy here, my feeling is that perhaps they've already anticipated this. They already knew there was some kind of break point coming to them or you or the relationship. I'm not sure what that means at this point because I'm just sensing the break point. These are both like, this is like the beginning and the end. So we have like the whole reading, the whole relationship has this big sense of a bookend, like almost like the feature film. Like you guys are living in a feature film. You started off, there was a time before this never existed. You didn't know them, they didn't know you. Then there was a time when you knew them, they knew you, and you ended up in a time where you have a relationship, a significant relationship. And now you're discovering, like all parties in a highly significant chosen relationship, that there are ups and downs. We intimate and we separate. And you might be at one of those moments, Sagittarius, with another party who has already witnessing and seeing the end point of this relationship. I don't want to spread doom and gloom, but if the relationship is based on, let's say, false foundations or optical illusions, or just, what you thought was a relationship, and the actual reality deep down is that there are a lot of hallmarks and signs of an ending, then that's what it is. So you might be sensing in your own way, like the desire to escape, and they might be sensing and knowing in their own way that the movie is over. It's already over, okay? But that can happen. You know how relationships and couples can still conduct and live in a relationship even though the relationship is essentially dissolved, because we go through phases. Sometimes just because a relationship is over spiritually, you can still live it out in 3 dimensions, like you're going through the roles, you're role playing, you're acting, you're going through the motions, you are conducting yourself as if, okay? And sometimes we don't have a choice to do that, especially if you got things like mortgages, families, kids, joint credit cards, whatever it is that involve deep intimacy, deep merger, okay? Can be very hard to deal with that stuff. So you're going to find out more as you go along. Let's look at the core itself here. Sorry, I just wanted to check my charts for a moment. Hey everybody, I see a few of you here on the screen. Thank you for showing up. I just want to remind everybody who's watching right now, this is a live recording for the Sagittarius Love and Relationship Mini Generic Report for March 2019. I know you guys are there, but I'm just doing this as the only option that I really have that's workable now for making the reports and getting them uploaded, because I can't record them then upload them anymore. It's impossible from here because of the technical limitations. So let's just leave it like that. Also, the thing is over here, remember, this is not a couples reading. It's all about you, and we are witnessing and allowing for the other main character in your movie. So the other main character could be considering like having serious evaluations for themselves about what is their role in the relationship. Why are they sensing very clear signs of the end and conclusion, like the relationship has lived out its life completely? Sometimes relationships literally have a beginning and a middle and an end, and that's actually quite common. And people dissolve relationships, okay? Sometimes relationships dissolve anyway, unconsciously. Either way, they can dissolve, and you have a lot of energy of dissolution in the 4th house right now. So coming up March, so please be aware of that. It doesn't mean it's over. It's just that it's very clear that a very significant chapter is over and something new is going to begin, because it has to. It's like it's almost like it's like one of those. Let me just show you. God, I don't want. Let's say, think of this as the thing that holds the relationship together, the foundation. And this is has become so fragile that it essentially just breaks, okay? And then what do you do now, okay? It doesn't mean it's over. It just means, like, you know, certain relationships, they're like episodic movies, or like trilogies or something, where you live a whole movie and then everything suddenly crashes and you're left with a big cliffhanger. What do we do next? Well, you wait for the next part of the trilogy, and so on and so on. Or think of it more like an episodic TV show or Netflix or something. But this one is definitely like crumbling under your feet as you go, and we're seeing like, where does this lead us now? Okay, what now? What now? What now? That means decisions. Okay, so what about at the core here? Okay, you see, with the 2 of Wands, to me, this amplifies the energy even more. My feeling is that this is going to be much more active towards the end of the month, where the energy that we've already talked about, it might be very uncomfortable, very awkward, very difficult to deal with, to the point where neither of you would want to deal with it, especially if you have had a history of a decent love life, a decent relationship, and then to discover so much fragility at the core that it's almost embarrassing to even discuss it or even acknowledge it. But deep down, the relationship has those hallmarks, and so you and the other and the relationship itself is crying out, what are we going to do now? What on earth are we going to do now? We have to make decisions. It's almost like the whole world is in front of us. Like, it's very clear. It's almost like I can see you. I can see you. You're looking for the exit door right now. I can see you because you don't want to deal with the stuff that has to be dealt with. And they're like, well, I'm already noticing that as far as you're concerned, the movie's already over. You've already gone out the exit door. So why are you blaming me or you know, talking to me that way? And then it's like, well, I just thought you should know. We're in a relationship. We're in a relationship, okay? And so then eventually you get to a very awkward moment of realization. Oh gosh, so this is what it means to be in a relationship? Oh no, what are we going to do now? So in other words, because all of this, whatever, to me it looks like this. I don't want to like scare you, Sag, but it looks like everything that you've known or assumed or believed or trusted or understood to be you and the other and the relationship, it's essentially kaput. And so you're left with huge decisions, epic decisions. What are we going to do now? You know, especially if you have a degree of merger, like if you're actually legally married and things like that, or you're living together, you have a business together, whatever it is, what are we going to do? Okay? So we don't know, because this looks like a huge question mark to me. Okay, let's have a look. What's fermenting over here? Okay, so with the Six of Swords, my feeling is it's almost like part of it is just like, it's almost like you guys have to look at each other in a very, very, very sober way, especially if the relationship is held together or has been held together by what I would call self-medicating or props or all sorts of very subtle and elaborate strategies and behaviors and tactics that are used by many people in order to, let's say, maintain a relationship that has a lot of fragility built into it that nobody wants to admit to. So you get to this point, let's just say you actually do start to make honest conversations and decisions about what are we going to do. To me, it looks like you don't have a lot of options except to jettison anything and everything that's not working and just leave it all behind and grab what does work and then move on. Okay? There's no choice. It's like the relationship wants peace. The relationship wants understanding. The relationship wants to move on into a new place, new horizons, where there's a much greater chance of stability and peace and harmony. Now, does that mean you guys have to part company and you go on your own ways? Does that mean you go deep, you face the facts of what everything that's not working, and then you have those, you basically get into it like a really serious face-to-face meeting, and in fact possibly multiple meetings where you decide we're going to have to figure this out because we have a lot at stake here, honey, and we're going to have to invoke our angels. You're going to have to invoke yours, they're going to have to invoke theirs, and we're going to have to ask for the healing power of love to bless our relationship from up above, even if it means wrapping things up, if that's the most loving thing to do. Okay, you have to understand that. Okay, so it looks to me like it's really important for you, Sagittarius, to get with the significant other and say, listen, we ask for the healing power of love to fill our relationship from up above, whatever that means. Dear angels, dear guides, dear heaven, dear invisible friends, show us what we need to know in order so we can figure out what we have to figure out, because it's obvious that there are big chunks that are just not working. You could almost say to yourself and to each other, like, look, I want peace and new stuff and understanding. Well, I want the same thing too. I've got a lot invested. Well, and I've been on this epic journey with you too. And we realize, like, you know, some people, like in businesses or couples or relationships, they basically say, you know, like it's almost like bankruptcy. It's almost like, you know, we're basically bankrupt as a couple. Everything that we thought was what it was is not. And we've essentially driven our whole relationship into the ditch, just like a business that has ended up in bankruptcy. And so you basically grab what you can, you salvage what you can, and then you move on. Now, do you move on together and just start all over again? you know, like going to like spiritual bankruptcy court and you basically get yourselves wiped clean, absolution, and then the great beyond and all your guardian angels basically tell you, don't make that kind of mistake again. You are blessed, you are released, you are free from your debts, your burdens, and all the failures about what is not working, and now you know. So just don't do that again. You are free to go. You can start from scratch, absolutely from scratch, from ground zero upwards again, but only work with what really, really counts in relationships. And in a really loving relationship, what really counts are things like kindness, consideration, patience, respect, very good listening, very good concern, asking questions, filtering all your actions and decisions and behaviors through the relationship, as opposed to what's in it for me or what's in it for me. You have to go through the relationship. I'm going to go back to the diagram here. What you and the other, you're in a relationship. If you're conducting yourself like this, like, what are you trying to get out of me? What am I trying to get out of you? What are we supposed to do now? How are we supposed to do that? That is a very limited perspective. So that's not going to work for you, Sagittarius, anyway, because you like the big picture. So all I'm suggesting is, please see everything from the broader perspective, the big picture. Understand everything on the largest scale possible. And don't be scared. Don't be scared to dive deep. Invoke the healing power of love. Find out what it is that you're missing, and then, if you have to, like, recalibrate. Go through the admission, the spiritual admission of like spiritual bankruptcy. Admit it, like, without bitterness or blaming yourself or the other or anything. It's just that it happens. Relationships can reach those points of bankruptcy where there's like, we're totally screwed. Doesn't mean it's over. It can mean it's over, but you have to start looking at things from a much more profound level, where what is it that really defines love, okay? And in this situation, those are the ingredients that we just talked about here. And moving forward from here, you would have to make your number one priority, making decisions about love, which is, from the Tarot Lumination perspective, is the willing, deliberate decision to go above and beyond and out of your comfort zone in order to deliberately foster your own spiritual growth and healing in the context of a significant relationship, so that you can grow and evolve, so that about love thyself, which is very important, so that they have the best chance of relating to you, so that they can grow in love, because a lot of things cannot happen in life. Certain types of healing, certain types of growth, evolution, even reproduction of the human race cannot occur outside the context of a relationship. And in a loving relationship, those are the ingredients that count. Okay? I hope I didn't upset you. I didn't mean to, but this looks like a pretty serious situation to me. All right? Thank you so much, Sagittarius. Take care. I'm going to check in over the screen. Just say hi to everybody. Hey, Linda. Hey, Carolyn. Hi, hello, Vieda. Hi, Nikki. I guess I probably missed a few. I'm not sure. Linda, yeah, I said, okay, anyway, I gotta go. Okay, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a witness. We just did this live together. I'm going to stop the video in just a moment. And before I do that, I just want to run through the basics. Please check your astrodoodles. Okay, you know that. You know how to do that already. It's a separate playlist. Personal readings, check the links below. Membership, check the link below. This is very, very important for Tarot Lumination. It's better if you just read it. Donate. Every penny counts here. Check the links below. Also, there's super chat if you want. Thank you very, very, very much. Okay, see you guys soon. We just did Leo this evening, and we just did Sagittarius, and now we are going to move on to Aries. Okay, so give me a little while, and I'll be back later this evening with the Aries reading for you guys live. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.